found out that it's been around since 2012.
No, 1912.
Sorry. I love 2000. Yeah, so it's been there since 1912. And, you know, in my head I'm thinking 1912, but I don't say it. But anyway, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, so it's a very grassy area. You'll see. Beautiful. It's bright, and I think the weather is what, 15 or something.
No, it's 9.
Oh, 9. Yes, which means it's colder than yesterday when we were in
mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
We're on this highway 109 because we are taking the western side of or the eastern side of Nashville because we don't want to go through Nashville. It's rush hour. If you look on your GPS, it's red. So we're going along that side, a road that's going to give us an alternative route to avoid Nashville, and then we're going right into Alabama.
To the hood of the truck, and it's so long. And it's a good view. Looking from high up, you see everything. Yeah, we have a little, I mean, like I said in the other video, it almost feels like we're in an airplane where in the cockpit with all these controls. I'm still waiting for my lesson as to what all these are for. There's only one that I can identify, which it looks like a fuel gauge that shows, I don't know. Yeah, it shows maybe
the scenery here, beautiful.
The amount of gas or fuel we have, or it's diesel, right? Yeah, so diesel. Look at this view.
This is all part of making our way into the Smoky Mountains. Everything from a different perspective. It's, as I said in the other video, it's one thing to be on a motorcycle, but it's another thing. Do they cut the rocks to open the road? Well, yeah, this is all from when they dynamite. They build the roads and they blow stuff out. That's why it's cut like that.
Oh, wow.
When they were originally building the roads, they dynamite all the area
to open up the road. How did they cut it so nicely?
Oh, I'm not where I'm not. I mean, they blow stuff up and then maybe smooth it out or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, a lot of times you see the area of.
I'm sure they have special machines that come by and make sure they cut the side of the rock out smooth or whatever.
Yeah, it's amazing when you see these rocks and you see it on both sides. You know, to think back in the days, people would, you know, as he said, open it up using dynamites, and then we're able to travel through, and we take it for granted. You know, the privilege that we have today where we can just drive through and we don't even think about what it took for those in the past to get it all nicely smooth and open up for us to drive. So it's
In
cool.
half a mile, slide left onto Old State Highway 109.
So far,
Slide left onto Old State Highway 109.
I'm really enjoying this trip.
Continue on Old State Highway 109 for 1.5 miles.
Yeah, it's really.
In 800 feet, turn left onto Old Douglas Road. Take the second left onto Old Douglas Road.
Don't worry about it. I'm just changing things on the fly. That's why. Look at all that red. Not good.
Yeah, that's the problem driving at this time of the day. What time is it now?
Oh, it's no problem. It's 8 o'clock here, but is it 8 o'clock here or is it 9 o'clock? Now it's 8 o'clock here.
9 o'clock in Canada, 8 o'clock in Tennessee. They have Central Time, which is an hour behind.
It's not 9 o'clock in Canada. It's 9 o'clock in Central Canada.
Right.
We're on
Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern. No, not even Eastern Canada. Eastern Canada is, remember, they're depending on where you are, 1 and 2 hours ahead.
So in Central Canada, we have Eastern Time.
Well, just in Ontario, Quebec, we're on Eastern Time right now.
Right.
I think.
But
We are now on Central Time in this part of the country, the United States.
yeah, sometimes we take for granted also that Canada has its own time zone in different areas.
No, we don't have our own time zone.
Different time zone.
We follow the grid for all of North America. When you look at a map of North America and Canada, we all follow the same patterns.
So when we go to different provinces, for example, the eastern side, like Newfoundland or Nova Scotia, they have different.
Yeah, they have Atlantic time.
And Vancouver,
They have Pacific time.
right? So
And then Alberta, they have Mountain time.
Yeah, I'm still trying to convert all that, because sometimes, especially if you have meetings like Zoom meetings, and they say, okay, we're meeting at 7 o'clock. I can't remember which time 7 o'clock it is. Is it my time? Is it their time? And how do I convert that at the time that we have the meeting? So these things are still always tricky. And to be frank, even persons who are born in that area always get it wrong. Not always, but a lot of times they get it wrong because they're always confused between the time, and sometimes they miss meetings because they're saying, oh, I thought it was Ontario time, or I thought it was our time. So it's always tricky when you're trying to come together, within a time frame. So here we go.
See that sign says Hendersonville? Just missed it?
Yeah, I put it there.
Hendersonville is where a lot of country celebrities live. Johnny Cash used to live in Hendersonville.
Here it is again. So Long Hollow Pike.
Yeah, Hendersonville. That basically just takes you just outside Nashville. That's where Johnny Cash used to live.
Oh yeah, those people who country singers.
Yeah, they live all around Hendersonville, Brentwood, all those areas, right on retards the engine, so it slows down the timing of the engine, so that way I don't have to use my brakes. A lot of the time you hear that sound, so it slows down the timing, and if I downshift, it compresses. It's basically a compression brake is what they call it, or we just call it Jake brake, because that's actually a brand name, but that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So I use it a lot. To minimize braking, because that way it saves on my brakes, and if you use it strategically, you don't have to. It's kind of like downshifting on a motorcycle or in a car. You just kind of take your time with it, and it'll treat you well if you use it correctly.
I think you do a similar strategy when we're going down the hill on the Harley Davidson.
Well, that has no engine brake, but I downshift for sure.
Yeah.
Use a lower gear.
To save on the brakes.
And for anyone who's interested, this is an 18 speed. It has 5 lower gears, and it's really heavy, and it really, so that way you can get real. That's why they have these switches here. See these switches? There's another switch on the side, the silver button on the side. So yeah.
So think about a car. Normally I'm used to 5-speed, first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, and you have 6th gear too, right?
My car is a 6-speed.
Yeah, so I never really had that. When the first car I drove was like a Russian car, which is a Lada, back in 1990 or something. I think, yeah, in 1990, that's when I drove for the first time. And it was like a 4 or 5-speed car. And it was interesting because I was able to learn how to shift gears, and you don't have to worry about the shifting. As long as you get out of your first gear, you're good to go. You just listen for the car, the engine, and then you can move through gears. Now we take it for granted. I don't have a gear stick vehicle right now, and I've been driving automatic for like 31 years. Wow, yikes. It's been a long time. So I forgot how to drive a stick vehicle, but I'm still waiting for my reacquaintance. Yes, not a truck, but like a car. Yes, so I'm gonna reacquaint myself with gear stick, perhaps before winter or something. I don't know. We'll see. When you see how the vehicle turns, he has to line up the back to make sure that the back can, inside the truck stop where, you know, I don't really see that a lot in Canada. So it's just amazing how, you know, the difference between two countries.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what happens. This guy cut us off a while ago. It looked like, oh my gosh, we almost ran into him.